I know your sleep pattern has been off. Apparently, people are experiencing timeline jumps. It's basically quantum jumping, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically you traveling through time space to an alternate or parallel reality experience. I know y'all ain't been sleeping. I know it. I know what's been going on. There's been changes going on, y'all. We gotta let's get into it.
I was driving, coming from Walmart, me and my kids. And when I tell y'all, I take the same road in the same way every time. Like, even my daughters said the same thing, y'all. I looked down at my phone. I wasn't even looking down that long. I cannot make this up, y'all. I had looked down at my phone. I can't even really remember what I looked down at my phone to do. So I don't even know if it's I jumped the timeline or went in a different dimension or what it was. But look, y'all, I looked down at my phone. I kid y'all not. When I look back up from looking at my phone, me and my kids was somewhere else, y'all. I cannot make this shit up. I don't even know what to call it. Me and my kids, when I look up first. And the first thing I say is, where the am I at? Like, I didn't even recognize where I was at. I was not where I was just at before I looked at my phone, y'all. I promise y'all, I was somewhere else. Like, I can't even breathe right now. It's like really freaking me out, right? So look, when my kids heard me say it, like, because that's how much of a shock I was. Like, I was self-talking, but I was out loud. I'm like, man, what the where the fuck am I at? Where's we at? Like, so my kids heard me and they look up. Soon as my kids look up, they say the same shit like, mama, where are we at? We was not just right here. Like, we was not just right here where we at. Like, we don't even know where we at. How do we even get right here? So look, y'all, I turn my GPS on. So then when I turn my GPS on, I put my address in. I was like 30 minutes from my house. I don't even know how to I even got that far. That's what the GPS said. I don't even know. So I turn in this place to do a U-turn to go back the other way, y'all. When I tell y'all, when I pull out of this place to go back the other way and I come to a stop, while I'm sitting at a stop trying to make a left turn, a car slammed into the back of me hard as y'all. I cannot kid y'all. This is why I'm in the hospital right now. What's so crazy about the car is they saying they didn't even see me. It's like I just appeared out of nowhere and they didn't even know I was there until they hit the back of my shit. Y'all, was like I came through a portal or something. Either I came through a portal or they came through the portal behind me, and motherfucker didn't realize because they did not even see me until they actually impacted my car, y'all. And I was sitting there when they slammed in the back of my car, y'all. I promise y'all. So I went through a portal.
Okay, some people in the comments have some theories about what happened to her, and I'm just gonna read it to y'all. One person said y'all passed away, but y'all consciousness went into a parallel universe where y'all all survived because it wasn't y'all's time. 30% of the people in the comments are actually saying quantum immortality. One person said that she fell off a cliff into a freezing cold water in the middle of winter when she was 6 years old. She hit a lot of rocks on the way down and couldn't swim. She somehow floated and made it back okay. Somebody else in the comment also mentioned that there's a book called Journey of Souls, and it talks about this. One case study says how her soul would come to earth and help people in this way and save them from certain death. You had some helper souls that day. Pay attention to this. Another person said, oh my God, I have this theory from a dream they had. I saved the pregnant Asian woman from hanging herself. My theory is that when we say an angel saved us, what if it was us? In this dream, she said she basically helped cause the vine on the tree to snap so the woman wouldn't hang herself. But she couldn't see her. She's the one who saved her on her end and told her that it isn't her time to go. Another person said a few years ago they was at an intersection light and it turned green. She went in a semi-truck, ran the light and drove through. She drove through the truck like a ghost. She was in shock, but she pulled over because she couldn't drive after that. Okay, so y'all, look, what's crazy about this is I've been watching a lot of things lately that have to do with time. I started watching this anime called Time Police Bond or Time Patrol Bond, and it's basically these people who save people from dying when it's not their time, and they can go back in time and help people and go to the future or go to the past. Like, they really are time police. And I feel like everything comes from something, because another TV show that I literally just started watching today is called Loki. What's so weird? Why in the middle of me talking about this, my access has been denied from being on TikTok while I'm recording? What the y'all? I'm not gonna lie, this kind of like creeping me out right now. And literally, y'all, the only reason why I started watching it was because my mom gave me this keychain that said Loki. Now the fact that we're talking about like parallel universes and time jumping, and the TV shows that I'm currently watching is about time jumping, this just is blowing my mind right now. Just give me a second. And this is literally the reason why I created these videos, because I need a space where I can just let all of this out, because I know I don't be tripping. I know I don't be tripping. But wait, there's more. Here's the next story. This woman was put into a crazy house because she was claiming that she is from the 80s and she jumped timelines. Do you know how many people are... let's go. Let's go, y'all.
So, my auntie works at a place where, they send people who they think are one of those institutions, right? So she was telling me about this lady that they had there that was there because she was making claims of being from a different timeline, a different dimension, and somehow stated that she just woke up in 2024, right? Okay, you follow me? Keep listening. So this lady came to the institution. She was admitted they ran tests on her, and long story short, they ended up not being able to find any evidence that this woman was lying in any way, shape, or form. And I mean, every test that they ran and all the evidence that they did find honestly did support everything that she was saying. Like, they could not find a hole in her story at all. So this woman's story goes like this. She wakes up, it's 2024. She's looking around like, where am I, what's going on, and how did I get here, right? Okay, so she ends up going outside and stumbling upon a stranger who she described as having colorful hair, face tattoos, and piercings, which scared the shit out of her, I can imagine. So she literally is looking around in this futuristic world compared to where she woke up from, and she asks this man, who looks very odd to her, I'm guessing, and she asks him, are you... So you can imagine, straight out gay, this man's probably thinking like, lady, who are you? Are you crazy? Like, go away. She proceeds to start telling this man, I am from the 80s. When I went to sleep, it was 1984, I believe they said. And what year is it now? What's going on? This man proceeds to tell her, baby, it is 2024. Like, did you bump your head before you went to bed? Because it's not the 80s. It hasn't been for quite a while. So the guy proceeds to ask her multiple questions about different things like the Mandela effect and so on and so forth. So he starts asking her questions about, like, the Bernstein Bears. Like, I guess the Bernstein Bears, like, were spelled different. And so he asked her, did he remember them, and how did she remember them being spelled? She responded that she remembered the Bernstein Bears being spelled with the A. That's number one, with the A. Which would mean that she wasn't from today. She was from back then when it did have an A. Then he proceeds to ask her about Nelson Mandela, the whole gist of the Mandela effect. And she tells him, yes, Nelson Mandela is the president in South Africa. At least when I went to sleep, he was. He's not dead. This man is still very much alive. So he's asking her all these different questions, and she literally gets every single last one of them correct for her being born or going to sleep at the time period that she said she went to sleep in. Okay? So at this point, the man is intrigued. So the man shows her TikTok, and they get on TikTok together, and she kind of goes down this whole rabbit hole of like different dimensions, timelines, and she's 100% convinced that somehow she ended up switching timelines. When she went to sleep, she woke up, it's 2024, she does not want to be here, and she needs to go back ASAP. So luckily this woman had shelter, because the house that she woken up in was a house that her family owned, and apparently it was still in her family in 2024 because that's the house that she woke up in, and so that is where she was staying at. So she goes back home. This woman goes down like this whole long rabbit hole of like conspiracy theories, trying to figure out what happened and how can she get back home, to the point where she is like obsessed with it. She's starting to go crazy with it. Like, this is all she's doing every day, every single day. She's saying she has a husband, she has children, and she needs to get back home ASAP. She got family, and it ain't no reason for her to be in 2024 all alone. So this woman, long story short, ends up going crazy with these conspiracy theories, and then one day she walks into a scientific research center where she's located, and this woman basically has a whole plan devised of this device she needs made in order for her to go back to the 80s. So that does not go over well, of course. The police ended up being called, and she kept coming back day after day, and which eventually led to her being instituted. Like, they put her in a crazy house where she met my aunt, and she told my aunt her whole story. There's a lot of details and things that I'm leaving out. If y'all want them, I have to put it in a part 2. But yeah, which is where she met my aunt, though. So she confided in my aunt, telling her, her whole life story, everything that was going on, and, how she was determined to make it back home, and she just did not understand or could not understand how she ended up here to begin with, but she was determined to make it back home. She had to make it back home to her family, her kids, and at this point, that was like her life's mission. this video is already too long. If you want to know what happened after that, then I'll do a part 2, or if you have any questions.
Let's go to the part 2.
Okay, so this is going to be part 2 of the lady from the 80s that woke up in 2024. Now, I want to start off by addressing some of the comments that I saw that had people confused because I left so many details out of the story. Now, I saw one comment where people were confused about the house that she was staying in. So, to clarify, the house that she woke up in 2024 is the same house that she went to sleep in the 80s. The only difference is when she woke up in her home this time, there was no husband, there were no kids, there was no family there. She just woke up in the house. It was 2024 and she was all alone. Also, I saw somebody ask about the guy that she had the interaction with. Now, this interaction, I summed it up into a couple of different words just because, honestly, I didn't remember every detail verbatim of what was told to me because, keep in mind, this is a story that's being passed from mouth to mouth, and I couldn't really remember everything verbatim, so I just summed it up pretty short, but that interaction was hours. This man took her to a coffee shop. They sat down, had coffee. He was showing her TikToks, and he began asking her those questions about the Bernstein Bears, the Monopoly guys, Monocle, and a bunch of other things, like just for his own reasonings, maybe to see if it was some truth to what the lady was saying or if she actually was just bonkers. And I also saw people with questions about the police helping her, like looking for a missing person, trying to find her family, all that, so on and so forth. No, the police did not help her at all. The police have not helped her. They're not going to help her. They believe she's crazy, so, which I'm sure she pretty quickly realized that nobody was really going to help her, which is why she devised, her own little plan or device that she came up with to get herself back home, which is what ended up leading to her being instituted. Now, my aunt actually did say her own words that she does not believe that the lady was instituted strictly off of her claims of being from the 80s. She said she believes it was coupled with the fact that she kept coming back day after day. And then secondly, it was the type of fuel that her device needed. The device that she needed help making had to be ran off of blood, cow's blood. So, if it doesn't seem crazy enough, imagine a lady walking in saying, hey, I need help making this, but we're going to have to go slaughter some cows to get me back to the 80s. And then she won't take no for an answer. Yeah, I could just see it. 911, we have an emergency. So, that is what led to her being instituted, and that is where she met my aunt. Now, my aunt also did state that she personally does believe the lady. She does not think she's crazy. She's had many interactions with her day after day. And she said that in her opinion, the woman was completely sane. And actually, she described her as being very intelligent. Now, when the police dropped this woman off, apparently they dropped her off as a crazy Jane Doe. No name, no information, no anything. So my aunt said because of this, they were limited in the things that they actually could do to try to help the woman. The lady apparently favored her over other workers, probably because she probably was the only one that actually does believe her or anything. But she said that she spoke to her and talked to her the most. My aunt told me that she gave the woman the best advice she could, and basically which was to teach her how to meditate and to go deep within. And she said that she told her that all the answers that she needs to get home should be deep within herself. So she taught her to breathe, taught her different breathing exercises, taught her to meditate, and to just go within and to ask her higher being, her higher self, to guide her back home. Which the lady did end up doing this. My aunt stated that day after day, they practiced meditating till the lady had it. She had it down packed. And she said at that point, the lady would just go into deep meditation for days. For days, she would just be in her room meditating. She stopped talking to everyone. She would not interact with other people at all. Every day, she spent her time in meditation. My aunt stated that after her doing this for about a week, she ended up actually speaking to my aunt one day. And my aunt said that she would never forget because this ended up being the last time that she ever saw her or spoke to her. She stated that the lady told her thank you and that she just kept saying, I figured it out. I finally figured it out. My aunt came back to work after being off for a day or two, and she told me that the lady was gone. She never saw her again. Like, she was just gone. And then that's when she realized that she never even got this woman's name. The police had brought the woman in under, just a Jane Doe, crazy Jane Doe. They never had her information. And she realized that she had no information about this lady. Absolutely none. Never even thought to even ask this woman her full government name. She does have her first name, but that's all. A coworker ended up telling her that the lady had just been released. Like, it wasn't a big deal. For some reason, my aunt just did not believe that, and then she wanted to start doing research after the fact.
So let's just unpack this situation here that we're seeing. Do you know how many movies and TV shows they have made about people being stuck in a certain time and trying to get back? There was this one movie where I forgot what it was called, but this man basically his daughter had got hurt while they was on a road trip, and they took them to the nearest hospital. He took his daughter and his wife to the nearest hospital. He checked his daughter in, and they said that his daughter was going to have to go to get an x-ray or some type of procedure that's needed to be done on a different level, on a different floor, and only one parent can go. So the mother was like, I'll go with her, you wait here. So he ended up waiting, and he was waiting for like hours, and he was trying to figure out like, I think he fell asleep or something, and then he woke up and he was like, where is my wife and my daughter? And then the lady at the desk was like, what are you talking about? She gave them the name. He gave her the names and stuff like that, and it was like, there's no one under the name of that. And he was like, what are you talking about? My wife and my daughter were here. Where are they? So then the whole movie just goes about him trying to find them in the hospital and thinking that the hospital has human trafficked them or some type of stuff. Like, it was crazy. But it's like all of these mind jumps is like really like blowing me right now. Like, I'm just, and mind you, it's 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. where I am at. Mind you. Mind you. Oh, and we're not going to talk about Dorothy. We're not going to talk about the Wizard of Oz that has just. Dorothy came from a different timeline and she got swooped up into another somewhere else. Now, somebody in the comments said, crazy she said cow's blood, because the theory of UFOs using that to travel and to come into our reality, I heard it recently, but I have to find the source. I know y'all seen the picture of UFOs beaming up cows. Like, what the fuck? Think about it. If Marvel is making all of these movies about quantum jumping and the quantum realm and parallel universes and Doctor Strange, the multiverse of madness, do y'all get it? Do y'all understand that there is everything that is out there? Everything. And there are people who are experiencing certain things that they're making movies out of and saying that it's not real and it's fiction. It's the same thing that they're doing with so much of the hidden. Yeah. And then let's talk about it. Let's talk about Lucy. Let's talk about the movie Lucy and how when she used 100% of her brain, she was able to travel back in time all the way to the beginning. She was able to travel through her consciousness. I'm just trying to test the limits of the capabilities of our brains and the things that we can do and the things that are randomly or subconsciously or giftedly, angelically happening to everybody. And they're putting it in the movies to make it minimalize it, to try to understand it and make it fiction and make it some type of a fake thing. But everything comes from something. So I honestly, like, I'm a firm believer, like, when I hear stuff like this, if it makes sense to me, then it makes sense. And I'm not gonna, no. This one definitely blew my mind, considering the fact that you already know. You saw the keychain that my mama gave me. You saw the keychain that she gave me about parallel. Okay. I love y'all. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. I hope that you have a good rest of your day. I'm sending you the most beautifulest love, light, and protection. And I will see y'all in the next video. Just come on, join me. And subscribe if you want to. We on a journey. We on a journey to explore the world, explore our experiences. We're just explorers. Okay, so I will see y'all on another video.